Thank you. I've got a great little company in Plymouth called, well, not so little company called Becton Dickinson, who are involved in the manufacturing and the largest supplier of needles and tubes for blood collection in the NHS. Their products are manufactured in Plymouth. They've just undergone a huge expansion, £172 million. They then go to Belgium. What impact is Brexit going to have on that sort of operation? Andrew, would you like to answer?
It's tricky. I wouldn't be able to comment on a specific company, but yes, I could.
But on that sort of operation, where we're manufacturing things here and they're going abroad and then potentially coming back to the UK, so they are the biggest supplier into the NHS. How is Brexit going to affect that sort of supply chain for patients? Is it going to, make it, harder for them to get tests and results?
Under current customs legislation, there are all sorts of procedures in place, such as, for example, outward processing relief, where you start the manufacturing process in one country, you take it to somewhere else, you take advantage of skills or expertise that might exist somewhere else, you come back, might cross borders a few times. Each of this might have certain customs control implications. By making, by the UK being separate from the European Union and the other member states becoming de facto outside, it could be that companies such as the one you're referring to might have to start considering these rather complicated customs regimes, such as outward processing relief, coupled with inward processing relief, which would require sophisticated IT systems. They would need to be able to track each and every part in their inventory, in the manufacturing process. These are sophisticated, complex operations that do require expertise, which brings me back to one of my earlier points, whether that expertise would be readily available. I'm not sure. Even the number of consultants is quite limited. You're dealing with uncertainty.
Richard, have you got anything to add to that?
That's not that area.
Or anybody else? I mean, it seems like there is no really sort of pleasant answer to that question.
It certainly doesn't sound. I mean, one can imagine if it becomes more challenging for businesses generally, then, and if they're small businesses, that's going to be a big cost problem. And if they're larger businesses, they might move. One can imagine if that type of our members respond to lots of regulation, lots of laws. You would understand that. Obviously, medicines are very, it's very important to get everything right for the patient. So there's so many legal challenges. All the licenses, as Richard mentioned, that the MHRA has issued. There's 2,500 wholesaler licenses in the UK. They'd all have to be rewritten. All the marketing authorisation holders, there's another 1,200 of those would have to be rewritten and reapplied for. The logistics of actually trying to make this legal in 1 year's time is almost impossible.
I think one of the other things I would add, that all the products you talk about are sterilised, and they're generally now sterilised using a medical radioisotope.
Yeah.
So again, it depends where that would be done, and the importation of that might be threatened as well.
What sort of customs arrangements could be adapted to support the import of time-sensitive medicines like radioisotopes? I mean, you mentioned a couple there. I'll be honest, I didn't really understand what you said. What sort of things for the layman could be done to make this work?
I mean, in essence, these are control regimes where customs acknowledge that certain manufacturing processes probably are best done outside the customs territory, and then when you re-import it, you don't want to pay additional customs duty. You don't want to pay the full customs duties just on the value added that has been taking place abroad, and you take advantage of that. So that's the principle.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.